Hello guys and welcome back. In chapter 6 we will take a look at the nature of management. We first define what management is. Organizations, small or large, for profit or non-for-profit, need things to achieve their objectives. But they also need people fulfilling the role of managers to plan, organize, staff, direct and control the work that goes on. So we will talk about these functions. We will then examine the various levels and areas in management in business. And finally, we will discuss the skills that managers need for success and the steps that lead to a successful managerial decision making. You can think of management as a complex interplay of skills and resources. Like these cogwheels, if one breaks down, the entire business suffers. So managers make the decisions about the usage of an organization's resources. Let's briefly discuss what these resources are. Material resources are the tangible and physical resources an organization uses. For instance, a factory. Human resources are the people who staff an organization and use the other resources to achieve the goals of the organization. Employees are one of the most important resources an organization can have because successful companies recruit, train, compensate, and provide benefits so they can foster the loyalty of employees. Financial resources are the funds the organization uses to meet the obligations with investors and creditors and to buy other resources. And finally, informational resources. Informational resources is the information about external and also internal business conditions that a firm can use in order to develop a competitive advantage. In my opinion, one of the most interesting things of management is that it tends to be universal. It takes place not only in businesses, but also in government, in the military, in labor unions, also in hospitals, schools, and religious groups. So you can find management in any organization requiring the coordination of resources. So managers engage in a series of activities to coordinate these different resources. Managers plan activities in order to achieve the company's objectives. They also organize resources so they can achieve the objectives. They also direct, in other words, they motivate and lead the people to work together towards achieving the objectives. And also a good manager needs to control that the organization is going in the right track. So even though the book talks about management as a linear process, management in real life can be very chaotic. But good managers are capable of dealing with a lot of complexity. And they have to be willing to do different functions at the same time. So I want to ask you about your skills to deal with complex situations. Think about that. Many organizations, especially the hierarchical ones, have multiple levels of management: top management, middle management, and first line management. These levels form this pyramid, like this figure here shows. As this pyramid implies, there are generally more middle management than top management, and still more first line managers. Very small organizations may have only one manager, typically the owner, who assumes the responsibilities of all three levels. However, large organizations have many managers at each level to coordinate the usage of different resources. So I ask you, do you think the organization and the information flows smoothly through these different levels? Well, many times it does not. So there is a lot of conflict in different levels, and because of the different perspectives. This is a challenge that managers face, so you need to be willing and skilled at dealing with conflict. So this is an interesting graph. Here we can see that managers at all three levels perform all 5 management functions. However, the time they spend on each of these functions varies. The slide displays the importance of the managerial functions according to the different levels of management. So for the top managers, the most important function is planning. But for the middle managers, the most important is organizing. And finally, for first line managers, the most important is controlling. So here my first question is if you think that an organization can function without managers. And also, if you know about organizations that function without managers, please put the links to those examples in the comments below.